All right, welcome to the Tuesday, September 6, 2016 Village of Peoria Heights Board of Trustees meeting. Meeting is now called to order. Would you please rise and join us in the pledge of the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Present.
Trustee Carter?
Present.
Trustee Mariscal?
Present.
Trustee Cumming?
Present.
Trustee Reichert?
Present.
Trustee Fuller?
Present. Thank you very much. First order of business tonight is the approval of the Board of Trustees minutes for August 16th, 2016. Are there any changes that need to be made to the minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Have a motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Reichert. All those in favor of approving the Board of Trustees minutes for August 16th, 2016 as submitted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the minutes for the Board of Trustees meeting August 16th, 2016. Next order of business tonight is the approval of the executive session minutes for August 16th, 2016. Need a motion for approval, please.
So moved.
Have a motion from Trustee Cumming.
Second.
Second from Trustee Mariscal. All those in favor of approving the executive session minutes for August 16th, 2016, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. Board has approved the executive session minutes for August 16th, 2016. Next order of business tonight is correspondence, and that will be presented by our village clerk, Shauna Musselman.
I have no correspondence this evening.
All righty. Thank you very much. No announcements tonight, so we'll move to trustee reports. And first will be Public Works with Trustee Harn.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. The only thing we have is the chip sealing is all done, and the Public Works crew will be cleaning up the loose gravel after probably a week or so. Let the heat in the cars pack it in as much as it's going to, and then they'll clean up the excess. And that's all we have. I don't know, I wasn't here at the last meeting. It seems like we have Mark Goff filling in for while he's off on maternity leave.
All right. Pleasure to have you here, Mr. Goff.
Thank you, sir.
We trust you will represent our street department well
I'll do my best.
at every meeting and on the road. Thanks, Mark, for being here tonight. We'll move to administration personnel with Trustee Cumming.
Thanks, Mayor Allen. Just like to announce that the tower is now open. We did have meteorological fall hours Wednesday through Sunday from 11A to 7P, but we've scaled that back now. You can get on the tower from 11A to 7P Thursday through Sunday. And I'm sure we'll be making an announcement sometime over the next few weeks when the official closing for the season will be. So as soon as we get that information, we'll get that out to you. Thanks.
All righty. Thank you. Any questions at all for Trustee Cumming? Okay, thanks again. We'll move to economic development, village improvements with Trustee Carter.
Thank you. I have nothing at this time.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll move to the police department with Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. We're changing the neighborhood watch format a little bit. They're going to move to quarterly meetings. So there will be no neighborhood watch meetings the rest of 2016. The next one will be Monday, January 30th, up here at Village Hall.
All right. Is that it for tonight?
That's it, thank you.
Okay. Any questions at all for Trustee Fuller? All right. Thank you again. We'll move to Village Hall building maintenance with Trustee Mariscal.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I have nothing to report this evening.
All righty. Thank you. And we'll close out with the fire department with Trustee Reichert.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go now to comments from the audience. If anybody in the audience has a comment, sir, please come up to the village lectern. If you could, give us your name and address.
My name is Floyd Wambacher. I live at 5300 Glen Elm Drive. And I'm here to request some information about what we could do to get on the curve on Glen Elm Drive. I'd like to see that it get a few more yellow stripe for no parking, because there are people parking right on that curve, and it's very dangerous, especially at night, because we can't see hardly anything coming around. we can see car headlights coming from the top of the hill on Glen Elm Drive and, slow down, have to creep around to see what's coming. And there's lots of little spots there between cars for dogs and raccoons to come running out. And so I'd like to see that curve have its no parking zone extended, with respect to the people who live there and might count on that parking space. I think we might have to look at it and see if we can get a little safer on it. A lot of people come whipping down that hill or whipping around without little regard for any safety. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and this was the way I was told to do it. So,
Mr. Wambacher, are you a plant in the audience?
am I?
Because Trustee Cumming has some information for you.
Really? No, it just so happens he lives two doors down from me. But, no, this is of my own doing.
Yeah, neighbors think alike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, about a month ago, I had contacted Public Works Superintendent Kyle Smith and asked him to go take a look at it because I was concerned that the existing no parking area, that the paint was flaking off and some liberties were being taken as far as using that section of the road to actually park in. And, and we understand that, that driveways and garages are sometimes not a common thing in the village, and that street parking is the only option. But you are right in that there seems to be an influx of additional parking since the summer has happened. And as I said, I reached out to Director Smith, asked him to go take a look at it. Said, yeah, we need to repaint this. And at that time, he suggested that we extend the no parking zone, not only for safety issues, but also thought that there might be some concerns with first responder vehicles and the public work vehicles.
Very much so.
Being able to get through there. So we are, Administrator Fick and I went out and took a look at it last week, and we will be, we're checking right now into whether or not we need an ordinance to extend that zone. And if possible, it would be up for a vote potentially at the earliest at the next meeting on the 13th. 20th, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a week off. I'm a day off and a week off now. And so we would like to get that accomplished on that meeting on the 20th. If not, I'm sure it would appear on the agenda for the first meeting in October, which would be on the 4th.
Okay.
But yeah, we are looking into it. And,
Yeah, there is a section there that is striped yellow, very bright yellow, but
Right.
it doesn't even hit the curve part.
Right.
And, especially if you're heading towards Glen, the curve on the right there, on your right side, that's the one that if you're coming up the other way on Glen Elm, it's harder than heck to see anything.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. And what we looked at and what we had determined when we went out there, because you've grown up here, I've grown up here, we've grown up in that same neighborhood for most of our lives, and I always thought that the no parking zone there was because of safety issues on the curve, but to actually go out and look at it, it's really just to protect the fire hydrant, and it doesn't extend around the curve.
Right.
So we felt pretty comfortable that we could extend it another section around, which would maybe, eyeballing it, we thought might just cannibalize one parking spot, which, I think one car shouldn't have a difficult time finding someplace else to park on the street. There's obviously more parking north on that southwest side up towards the old Frakes place.
right.
And, heading up towards Harris's and Nevergall's up there.
Lots of parking up in the
Yeah,
side of Harris's,
there
so-
really is. So, like much with our uptown district, some people might find themselves in a situation where they might have to walk a little bit to get to their destination. But, we'll definitely try and make that corner safer for motorists and for pedestrians, especially the kids, without hopefully taking up too much of the street parking and inconveniencing the citizens that live down there on the bend.
All right, I'll be happy to check it out when it gets done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Floyd.
How do you like that service? You're a proud...
Yeah.
Oh, boy. No yellow striping in front of Mr. Wambacher's house. We got to remember that. Okay, no old business tonight, so we're going to go to new business. And first up will be ordinance 2016-1482. That will be presented by Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Administrator Fick, when was that Q3 or Q4 last year when we originally received the grant? I'm just trying to get my timeline right.
Probably
here.
3. It was before,
Okay.
I think we started with, it was kind of fallish when we started having our meetings.
Right,
Kickoff
right.
meetings
That's
and
what I kind of thought. You know, thanks to the Tri-County Regional Planning Committee last year, we were fortunate enough and humbled to receive a grant to have a master corridor planning study done for our commercial sectors here in the village. And we were fortunate enough to have Housel Levine undertake this project and come down, make some observations. We met as a committee in March and had a really great brainstorming session, figured out what the village's strengths were, what our opportunities were, and, how do we build upon those strengths and also rise to the challenge of correcting the opportunities that we have to make the village a better place. So at this time, I'd like to call Mr. Nick Davis from Housel Levine up to give us an overview of the corridor planning study that they put together for us. Nick was kind enough to drive down from Chicagoland this evening, so we appreciate that. And I'll turn it over to you, Nick.
All right, well, thanks. Can everybody hear me? Talk louder, quieter? We'll say good. Well, thanks for the opportunity to come and present the most recent draft of the Commercial Corridors Master Plan. So we did look at the 3 corridors, so Glen, Prospect, and War Memorial. What I wanted to do tonight, since we did a presentation not too long ago, it's fairly the same content. I did just want to highlight some of the changes that have happened, and really a majority of the changes that have happened are in the last 2 chapters. I'm going to assume everybody's seen it, has it in front of them. So the last 2 chapters are the actions and strategies. In that chapter, in that section, some of the things that we addressed were on page 29. We provided some additional intersection safety data. Just provided a map to show where some of the conflict points have been and what some of the strategies are that can take place to kind of alleviate these issues. And then they're covered throughout various parts of the chapter as well. We also took a look at some of the simplification on the parking. So there was a lot of discussion about, where additional parking should occur. So really throughout this entire chapter, we just kind of beefed up what that discussion should be, or really what the village should do to provide additional parking as, new commercial uses or new businesses or just general interest in the area picks up with like the bike trail and things like that, where those sites should be. And maybe some of the treatments that those parking lots would need, like screening, access, connections to other uses, that kind of thing. And then in the last chapter, the economic development and reinvestment strategies chapter, the big focuses there were, we did a review of the current zoning code as they stand and just gave kind of like a high level, if you were going to make a change tomorrow, these are the things that you should look at. So we talk about parking, we talk about some improvements to the uses. So in that page, and maybe if that's something we're going to come back to and you have specific questions we can talk to, but it's really just kind of that high level. These are the issues that you should address moving forward as based on recommendations from this plan. We also, on page, so that was page 74. On page 78, and then really to the end of the document, this is the implementation section. So this is something that we talked about last time. And this section, the entire plan is very important. It outlines a lot of the recommendations that are critical to the improvement of these 3 corridors, each one having their own unique challenges. This section kind of outlines specifically what those recommendations are driving at and provides strategies or actions about what needs to be done, what the action is, what the priority is, and who's responsible. So this really becomes or starts to serve as a checklist to accomplishing this entire plan. So many of the recommendations, if not all of the recommendations from the plan, kind of found their way, and they're broken out by chapter or by section. So land use and development, access and connectivity, parking, streetscape, and beautification. Those are the primary pieces that are within this implementation table. And then, like I said, it's just broken out into, who's responsible for doing what your priorities should be. Some things could be done, tomorrow. Some things could be done over time. Something might take a couple of years. So it just depends on what you want to pick off as your bigger challenges first. And then there's kind of a breakdown about what each one of these categories, what they mean, maybe who some of those partners are that you should be reaching out to, and what some of those next steps are. And then really throughout this whole chapter, we talk about, additional incentive funds that could be put into, or incentives or funds that could be put into place, setting up a relationship with your business community that's fostering this kind of dialogue back and forth about what kind of improvements they'd like to see, if that's a bigger discussion about, down the line, what the streetscape improvements might look like, or what site furnishing improvements might look like, or how parking's interacting with their uses. That's all talked about in this section. So those were the big changes that occurred since our last conversation, taking some of the feedback from the board that we received both during our meeting but also afterwards, and then just some internal review as we went through it. So at this point, I didn't know if anybody had any questions. I'm certainly able to answer, hopefully, anything that you might throw at me. Otherwise, I don't really have much else to present.
Any questions for Nick?
I'll take that as a thorough document. I appreciate that.
Anyone?
So,
Anyone?
there you go. Okay. Well, again, with that, I appreciate the opportunity to let our team present the Commercial Corridors Master Plan to the board, and I guess we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So I'll hand it back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks again for
Thanks,
coming down, Nick, and presenting.
Okay, so motion then, Trustee Cummings?
Yeah, since there are no further questions, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 2016-1482, approving the Commercial Corridor Master Plan.
Motion from Trustee Cummings.
Second.
Second from Trustee Harn. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of ordinance 2016-1482, approving the Commercial Corridors Master Plan prepared by Halcyon Levine Associates. I hope I pronounced that correct, Nick. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter? Aye. Trustee Mariscal?
Aye.
Trustee Cummings?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Aye. Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved ordinance 2016-1482 as outlined by Trustee Cummings. Next order of new business tonight is the award of a demolition bid for the Greyboy Center building, and that will be presented by Trustee Harn.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Allen. We had two people responded to our bid proposal. We had an estimate from River City Demolition and an estimate from Iron Hustler Excavating. River City Demolition's bid was $47,239, and Iron Hustler was $58,718. I'm going to make a motion that we approve the River City Demolition bid. What they'll be doing is just removing the lower portion of the Greyboy building, not the tall portion. Plus, they will fill in where the basement is at and do some compaction on that as well. So, make a motion we approve the demolition estimate.
Okay, we have a motion from Trustee Harn.
Second.
Second from Trustee Reichert. Are there any questions or comments before the board votes?
I have a quick question. Is that an expense that will be reimbursed for? Is that a TIF eligible?
So, yes, it is. And actually, for the minutes, I was told by, so we have a loan up to $600,000, if you recall, from, what is it now, the Heights Community Bank, I think it's called. And so we've advanced $350,000 of that. And so for the minutes, just to reflect that this will be coming out of, a further advancement of that loan, the $47,239, and those are all eligible for reimbursement from probably business. It could be TIF, it could be Business Development District, it could be other municipal sales tax sources.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for the award of the demolition bid for the center building at the Greyboy property, former Greyboy property, from River City Demolition. Amount of $47,239 is outlined by Trustee Harn. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Mariska?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the low bid from River City Demolition on the Center Building Greyboy property demolition in the amount of $47,239. Next order of new business tonight is an authorization to go out to bid for site work on the Greyboy property, and that will be presented by Trustee Harn.
Thank you again, Mayor Allen. I make a motion that we approve going out for bid for the site work on the Greyboy property. This bid will not be due until after the demolition is completed and the people who are bidding can actually see what they're bidding on, because it'd be backwards to do it any other way. So I make a motion anyway that we approve getting the paperwork together and going out for bid on the site work. The site work will be for a parking lot, some curbs and gutters and sidewalks and things like that.
All righty. Have a motion from Trustee Harn. Second from Trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Yeah.
Sorry, I should have added this to when we did the demolition bid, so that it could be done sooner, but the deadline for the demolition is October 7th. So just to give you a time frame, then we go out to bid for the site work, receive those, and I'm not sure if it'll be done this year or not. It might be pushing it to the point where it might be done in the spring.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, we're getting late in the year and everything, so, I mean, it's better to have people bid on things in the winter anyway.
And
Seems like you get a little bit better price when, companies are trying to line up spring work, so.
we probably might want to discuss this anyway at a departmental meeting about this proposed site work. I think it's still, some things are a little bit up in the air. We're not really sure exactly what we're going to do.
Might even be better to wait and discuss it after the building's gone. We can actually see the property.
Yeah.
Go down there and someone can, well, I'm sure the Hermans will pull a tape so we know how much space we actually have.
Should we go ahead and table this for now?
No, because, I mean, once we have the authorization to go out to bid, we can do it at any time. So we might as well do it, and then we can,
Okay, sight unseen. Okay. Well, we have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments from the board before they vote? Okay, once again, this is an authorization to go out to bid for site work on the Greyboy property with the understanding that the board will have the opportunity to fully review and give feedback on the proposed site work prior to going out for bid. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter? Aye. Trustee Mariska?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the authorization to go out for bid for site work at the Greyboy property pending review of the drawings of the same. Next order of new business tonight is the authorization to award sidewalk bid at 1311 East Scioto to C&G Concrete, and that will be presented by Trustee Fuller.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. I feel like this is the concrete work that has been living on the entire summer. I feel like we've talked about it at every meeting. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the bid from C&G Concrete Construction, and this is to repave the area outside of the police department. And the important thing is that it'll make that area ADA compliant, and they're going to put in a ramp for wheelchairs. So,
All right.
and the total amount is $11,500.
Okay. We have a motion from Trustee Fuller.
Second.
Second from Trustee Cumming. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes?
Aren't we coming in under budget? Hadn't we figured about $13K for this, so we're about $1,500 under budget? Good deal. Yeah, it's much needed. Talk about crumbling infrastructure. That's the visual that accompanies the definition in the dictionaries, that sidewalk down there. So much needed, and glad we're finally getting it taken care of, Chief. You guys deserve a good sidewalk down there.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of the proposal from C&G Concrete for the work to be done outside the police station at 1311 East Scioto, as outlined by Trustee Fuller. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Mariscal?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the bid from C&G Concrete in the amount of $11,500 for the repairs to the sidewalk at the police station, as outlined by Trustee Fuller. Next order of new business tonight is the authorization to approve the Peoria Heights Lions Club sidewalk fundraising event, and that will be presented by Trustee Carter.
Thank you. The Peoria Heights Suburban Lions Club would like to pass out candy and collect funds for their annual Candy Day fundraiser at the intersection of Prospect and Cyberline on Friday, October 14th. So I make a motion.
I have a motion from Trustee Carter.
Second.
Second from Trustee Reichert. Are there any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval to give authorization for the Peoria Heights Suburban Lions Club sidewalk fundraising event at Prospect and Cyberling, Friday, October 14th, 2016, as outlined by Trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Trustee Harn?
Aye.
Trustee Carter?
Aye.
Trustee Mariscal?
Aye.
Trustee Cumming?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Trustee Fuller?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. By a vote of 6-0, the board has approved the Peoria Heights Lions Club sidewalk fundraising event on Friday, October 14th, as outlined by Trustee Carter. Our next order of new business tonight is the authorization to approve a free public worship concert at Tower Park, and that will be presented by Trustee Carter.
Thank you. So I have a question before I make a motion. So did they get rained out on August 27th? Because it says it's on August 27th, the rain, alternate location of October 2nd in case of a rain or emergency?
You know what? I know they changed the date, and I can't remember why, if they had rain or what the reasoning was to changing the date.
So October 2nd is the date they want?
Let's see. Yes.
So I make a motion for, who's the public worship concert? It's a free concert on October 2nd at the Tower Park.
I have a motion from Trustee Carter.
Second.
Second from Trustee Reichert. Any questions or comments from the board before the board votes? Okay, once again, this is for board approval of to approve the free public worship concert on Sunday, October 2nd, 2016, as outlined by Trustee Carter. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Thank you. The ayes have it. The board has approved the free public worship concert Sunday, October 2nd, 2016 in Tower Park, as outlined by Trustee Carter. Next order of new business tonight is Resolution 2016-01, which will be presented by Trustee Cumming.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. Over the past year, the village had taken possession of an abandoned piece of property located at 828 East London Avenue. Subsequently, we had the dwelling that was located on that property demolished. And last month, we had put out a request for bids to sell the property outright. This was after we